Okay, number 12 says, it says solve the triangle. It's actually the instructions for 12 and 13. Okay, so we need to solve the triangle. That means find everything that's not known. So I need to find H to F, I need to find angle G, and I need to find angle H. Okay? So that's what I need to figure out. So first thing is, I think I'm going to find HF. It's pretty easy. HF looks like a Pythagorean theorem problem. So I'm going to write, so I know this is, the hypotenuse is the longest one, 21 squared, equals, well, HF I need, and I'm going to square it, plus 11 squared. Okay, so I do some work there, and I'll get HF squared, I did some switching of sides, is 21 squared minus 11 squared. Okay, why is that? Because it's minus 11 squared here, minus 11 squared here. Those will cancel out. Okay, so then how do I undo squaring? Well, I take the square root. So I get HF equals, and I'm going to take 21 squared minus 11 squared. 21 squared minus 11 squared is 320. So I need to figure out the square root of 320. So now I'm going to square root that. And that gives me HF is 17.89 units long. So that's great. So we got that. That gets you just 1 out of 3 there. But we got some other pieces we need. Now, which angle do you want? You got to choose. Am I going to deal with angle G, or am I going to deal with angle H? You just have to choose which one and go with that. So I'm going to choose to use H right there. So I'm going to say H. If that's H, then this is the hypo, this is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. Okay. Now, it's safer if I use the opposite and hypo in case I made a mistake here. I don't want to use something that has a mistake in it, so I'm going to try to do H. So I'm going to use opposite and hypo, and that's sine. So I'm going to do the sine of H equals the opposite over the hypo, which is 21. I want to undo sine, so I go arc sine, and I do the same thing here. Okay, so when I do that, I get H, the angle H, the measurement of angle H, equals, and I'll type that in the calculator, second sine, divided by 21, and I'll get the angle is 31.6 degrees. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so what is left for this angle right here? Well, let's use the 180 rule. 180 degrees in the triangle. We used 90 up, so there's 90 degrees left, so that's that angle. Then we used another 31.6 degrees. And so when I subtract that from 90, I get 58.4. And that's the measurement of angle G. And now I have solved the triangle. So I used some trig to get the angle measurement. I could have used trig to get this other side, but I didn't need to, because I already had done Pythagorean theorem. Let's go to number 13. Okay, and this one here, they gave you a little bit different information, but they still want you to solve the triangle, so I still need to get the unknown stuff. I need to get the two sides, and I need to get the angle here. Well, the angle looks like it's the easiest thing to do, so how do we get the angle? Because I've got two of them. The measurement of angle H is 90, because I've already used 90 up here, so there's only 90 left. 90 minus 59 degrees. There's also a right triangle corollary that says the two angles have to add up to 90 in a right triangle. So that's going to give us 31 degrees. Okay, so we already got one of the three pieces we needed. Okay, now you need to pick a side, and it turns out, I don't care which side you pick, but I really need to look at an angle. I'm going to use this angle here because they gave it to us. And if that's the case, then this is the opposite to that, and this is the adjacent, and this is the hypo across from the 90. So if I want to get x, I'm going to need adjacent and hypo, and that's sine. So is opposite over hypotenuse. No, I want adjacent. Ka, adjacent and hypotenuse. So I'm going to use cosine. So I'm going to do that right now. The cosine 59 degrees is the adjacent, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 11. When I cross multiply, I get x equals 11 cosine 59 degrees. When I type that in the calculator, cosine 59 degrees is 5.67. Okay? Now, some people want to use Pythagorean theorem. Now, the only risk is if you do that is, what if I made a calculation error here? So I'm going to go back to it, and I'm going to use this angle again, and this is, I want opposite in hypo. Opposite in hypo is sine. So I'm going to use sine. So sine 59 degrees equals y over 11. Put it over 1, the 59, sine 59, and you'll get 1 times y is y. 11 times sine 59 degrees. So I type that in here. 11 second, no, not doing second, sine, just 11 sine 59. I don't need a second button. And I get 9.43. And there it is there.